Congresswoman Luistro, maybe we can ask Attorney Sanchez because I noticed that her name was included in that document.
Ms. Sanchez, Attorney Sanchez,
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
do you confirm that Vice President Robredo has good governance program also?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Would you
Your Honor.
confirm that under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, there is no confidential fund?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Your
And would
Honor.
you further confirm that under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, there is no maintenance of safe houses?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Please enlighten us. Bakit po pagdating sa programa, same program, good governance program of Vice President Duterte, biglang nagkaroon ng confidential fund, biglang nagkaroon ng maintenance of safe houses?
Mr. Chair, in terms of knowledge and control over the operations of the
No,
office.
ma'am. When it comes to the confidential funds, my question is, who has knowledge over this?
When it comes to the confidential fund, Your Honor, it should be the Special Disbursing Officer, Your Honor.
And that would be,
Ms. Gina Acosta, Your Honor.
okay, under the office or under the supervision of,
She is assigned under the Office of the Chief of Staff, Your Honor.
and the chief of staff being,
That is Attorney Zuleika T. Lopez, Your Honor.
and who does the chief of staff answer to?
The Vice President, Your Honor.
Being whom?
Vice President Sarah Duterte.
The chair would like to recognize Congresswoman Luistro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I wish to raise my questions to Ms. Villa Del Rey. Ma'am, you confirm that you are the Chief Accountant of OVP.
Yes, Your Honor.
May we know how long have you been working at the Office of the Vice President?
I was started in the OBP since 1990, Your Honor. I'm already in my 34th year.
1990.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you please share with us who was the Vice President then?
It was still Vice President Doy Laurel, Your Honor.
Doy Laurel.
Salvador Laurel.
My question for you, Ms. Villa Del Rey. Would it be correct to say that during the time of Vice President Duterte, there are two kinds of key officials? One are those who have been with the OVP for so long a time, like you. And the other kind are those who came along with the Vice President, either from Davao City LGU or from her electoral campaign. Would that be correct?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Kapag sinabi po ba natin na key officials who have been with the OBP for so long a time, tama po bang tawagin to na career officials?
Tama po, Your Honor.
And with respect to those who came along with the Vice President, either from the Davao City LGU or from her electoral campaign, are these what we call the coterminous or confidential officials?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Just for the enlightenment of the committee, Ms. Villa Del Rey, can you please cite at least some names of the key officials of OVP who are career officials?
From SG24 Division Head, Your Honor, down to rank and file, Your Honor, all other officials are coterminous or appointed officials.
You said SG24 down to rank and file are career officials.
Tama po, Your
So
Honor.
would it be correct to say that if the officials are higher than SG24, these are the confidential officials?
Coterminous and confidential officials, Your Honor.
What is the difference, if there is any, between coterminous and confidential officials?
For coterminous employees, officials, Your Honor, they are, as I understand din po ito, is within the term po of the current administration or the current Vice President.
And how about confidential officials, if there's any difference?
Same coterminous, Your Honor.
So there is no difference at all between coterminous and confidential officials. As a matter of fact, I have observed that these two terminologies are being used interchangeably. Do you confirm that, Ms. Villa del Rey?
For me, Your Honor, yes po.
Okay. With respect to the confidential officials or coterminous officials, can you please name some or few officials who were brought in to the OVP by Vice President Duterte?
Based on the positions, Your Honor, we have the Chief of Staff, the Assistant Chief of Staff, the Director for Operations, the Director for SMO, Director for Admin and Finance, and all other coterminous employees under the said officials.
Does that include the Special Disbursing Officer?
Yes, Your Honor.
What salary grade is SDO?
For our SDO, for confidential is, if tama po yung pagkakatanda ko, is SG-24.
SG-24, but earlier you said if it is SG-24 down to rank and file, that is career officials. And if that is higher than SG-24, then that will be confidential officials. Can you please enlighten us on this?
There are positions po na SG-24, but they are not division heads under career or under permanent plantilla positions, Your Honor. SG-24 under coterminous.
How many SDO do you have?
I cannot recall, Your Honor, but we have SDO for various activities. We have SDO for confidential fund.
And you confirm that the SDO for confidential fund is Gina Acosta.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what salary grade is that?
SG-24, Your Honor.
SG-24 career official,
Non-career po.
non-career official. Ms. Villa del Rey, I understand that in August 2022, the Office of the Vice President requested for augmentation fund, which includes confidential fund. Do you confirm this?
Your Honor, may I refer your question to our budget officer?
Yes, please.
Mr. Kelvin, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I confirm that there was a request to DBM for the augmentation of fund of OVP in August FY 2022.
May we know, sir, how long have you been connected to the OVP?
I have been with OVP since 2014, since former Vice President Binay, ma'am. Mr.
Vice
Chair.
President Binay. So I believe that you are in the best position to answer whether during the time of Vice President Leni Robredo, mayroon din po bang confidential fund nung time ni Vice President Leni Robredo?
There was no confidential fund during the term of Vice President Leni Robredo.
There was no confidential fund during the time of Vice President Leni Robredo. How about during the time of Vice President Jejomar Binay?
I am not a budget officer during that time, ma'am, so I have no knowledge. But per records, I think earlier years of his term, meron pong confidential fund.
Would you be able to enlighten us how many times did Vice President Binay requested for confidential funds during his term?
I cannot give definite answer, ma'am, but upon checking the documents available in the office, there was a series of correspondences regarding confidential fund. However, there is also correspondences reflecting to return or to revert back the release of confidential fund.
There are sources which say that Vice President Jejomar Binay had confidential fund only once. But of course, this is subject to your verification.
I will check, Madam Ms. Chair, Mr. Chair.
I wish to go back to Ms. Villa del Rey, but I would not mind, Kevin, if you will continue answering my questions. She's temporarily out. Would it be correct to say, sir, since there are no confidential funds during the time of Vice President Robredo, and Vice President Jejomar Binay only had once, would it be correct to say that the career officials of Vice President of the Office of the OVP during the time of Vice President Sara are not used or inexperienced with respect to confidential fund?
I would agree, Mr. Chair. However, we are always guided by certain circulars or guidelines.
And if you agree that the career officials are inexperienced with respect to confidential fund, there being no confidential fund during the time of the former vice presidents, to be particular, Robredo and Binay, would it be correct to say that it is the confidential officials of Vice President Duterte who are experienced with respect to confidential funds?
I have no information, Mr. Chair, with regard to the experience of the coterminous or confidential employees of this administration.
Do you know Yusek Sulaika Lopez?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Would you know where she came from before she assumed her position at the OVP?
During that time, I think she was, previously, she was the city administrator of...
And would you know how long she was employed as city administrator in Davao?
No, Mr. Chair, I have no information.
But at least would you know how long was she connected with Davao City LGU prior to OVP stint?
I cannot remember, but during the first, I think, payroll, of course, attachment of those documents are the service records, but I have no exact or number of years to tell the committee of Attorney Sulaika Lopez as employee of the Davao LGU.
How about Miss Gina Acosta? Do you know her?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Would you know where she came from?
Same from Davao LGU.
And would you know how long she was connected to Davao City LGU prior to her assumption of office at the OVP?
No, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I just want to manifest that during the previous hearings, we were able to present already before the committee the confidential funds of the city of Davao since 1988. And if my memory serves me right, during the time of then Mayor Sarah Duterte, the confidential fund was 420 million, and then it was raised to 460 million until she finished her term as mayor of Davao City. Having this in mind, sir,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
would you agree with me if I would say that Yusek Sulaika Lopez and SDO Gina Acosta are well experienced with regards to confidential fund?
I cannot surmise, Mr. Chair, because I have no knowledge of their position or participation in the Davao LGU.
Let us proceed to the fiscal and financial plan. I hope you are in the position to answer this. May we request the Secretary to please flash the fiscal and financial plan. Based on this document, sir, the OVP requested for 250 million confidential funds. This is for the fourth quarter of 2022. Kaka-assume lang po ng opisina ng ating Vice Presidente. And this is for the implementation of the Good Governance Program. Do you confirm this?
I confirm the document, Mr. Chair.
And according to this document, the amount of 250 million confidential funds is supposed to be spent for a period of 3 months, equivalent to 90 days representing the fourth quarter of 2022. Tama po ba?
I confirm, Mr. Chair.
And to be specific, that would mean October, November, and December of 2022.
I agree,
You
Mr.
confirm?
Chair.
And of course, you are aware also that the entire amount of 250 million was not approved. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And what was approved by the DBM only was 125 million. Tama po?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Considering that the program that was presented to the DBM for that 250 million is 3 months, equivalent to 90 days, representing the last 3 months of the year 2022. Tama po bang sabihin that with regards to the approved 125 million confidential fund, this is supposed to be spent for a period of 1.5 months, equivalent to 45 days, part of the last quarter of 2022.
I cannot tell that the amount of 125 million must be spent for 1.5 months, ma'am.
But at least, sir, if we will be basing it on the fiscal and financial plan, which presented the 250 million as expenses to be incurred for the last quarter of 2022, which is equivalent to 3 months or 90 days, if the DBM approved only one half, then it is reasonable to assume that 125 million representing one half is supposed to be spent in one half number of days of the supposed 90 days. And that is 45 days. Is that a reasonable interpretation?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I think
It
that
is a reasonable interpretation. Of course, we wish to manifest to the committee 250 million po ang request na confidential fund under the Good Governance Program. This is supposed to be spent during the last quarter of 2022. That is 3 months, equivalent to 90 days, and to be specific, the month of October, November, and December of the year 2022. Considering, Mr. Chair, that what was approved was only one half of the requested amount, that is 125 million, I wish to believe that this is supposed to be spent in one half of the presented period, that is 45 days or 1.5 months of the last quarter of 2022. Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, during our previous hearings, it was established already, and I wish to confirm this from our resource speaker, that that 125 million confidential fund of the OVP was spent only within the period of 11 days.
If we will base it on the date of check, I think it is equivalent to 11 days, ma'am, Mr. Chair.
Yes, and can we please flash the next slide? There. The utilization of confidential fund, 125 million, December 21 to December 31, 2022, and that is equivalent to 11 days. Do you confirm this, sir?
I confirm, Mr. Chair.
Now, let us look back to the 16 million portion of the 125 million confidential fund, which was used in the maintenance or rental of safe houses. This was liquidated by the use of 34 acknowledgement receipts. Do you confirm this?
I cannot confirm, Mr. Chair, because I have no participation or knowledge with regard to the disbursement or the liquidation of the
I
confidential
understand.
funds.
Can we go back to Ms. Villa del Rey? Ma'am, can we confirm that the 16 million portion of the 125 million confidential funds was liquidated by way of acknowledgement receipts, 34 acknowledgement receipts, representing rental of safe houses?
I cannot confirm, Your Honor, since I have no personal knowledge on the disbursement and utilization of confidential fund.
Do we have a resource speaker who have knowledge about this acknowledgement receipt? There is none. Nevertheless, Mr. Chair, let this representation manifest that the records show that the 125 million confidential fund was approved for the last quarter of 2022, and 16 million out of the same amount was liquidated by way of 34 acknowledgement receipts representing rental of safe houses. And I wish to further manifest, Mr. Chair, that the lowest amount among the 34 acknowledgement receipt is 250,000, which was spent for 11 days, representing the rental of 22,000 per day for the said safe house. The highest amount of acknowledgement receipt, Mr. Chair, is 1 million. And if we divide this into 11 days, that would mean that the rental per day for the safe house is 90,000, way higher than the luxury hotels as previously presented and established in our hearings, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I wish to go back to Ms. Villa del Rey. Ma'am, doon po sa letter to the DVM for the request for augmentation fund, the purpose that was cited, safe implementation of various projects and activities under the Good Governance Program. Do you confirm this?
I don't have knowledge of the request, Your Honor. I only have copy of the letter.
Can we please flash again the physical and financial plan? At least, Ms. Villa del Rey, please confirm it from the document from the office of the OVP. It says, safe implementation of OVP. I cannot read anymore. Would you know, Ms. Villa del Rey, if during the time of Vice President Robredo, there is good governance program also?
Yes, Your Honor.
And under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, may kasama po ba doon na maintenance of safe houses?
Wala po, Your Honor.
Then can you please enlighten us? Bakit po dito sa good governance program ni Vice President Duterte may nasamang maintenance of safe houses under confidential fund?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Wala po akong knowledge doon sa disbursement and utilization ng confidential funds.
Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, I wish to manifest that although both Vice President Robredo and Vice President Duterte,
Congresswoman Luistro, maybe we can ask Attorney Sanchez because I noticed that her name was included in that document.
Ms. Sanchez, Attorney Sanchez,
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
do you confirm that Vice President Robredo has good governance program also?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Would you
Your Honor.
confirm that under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, there is no confidential fund?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And
Your
would
Honor.
you further confirm that under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, there is no maintenance of safe houses?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Please enlighten us. Bakit po pagdating sa programa, same program, good governance program of Vice President Duterte, biglang nagkaroon ng confidential fund, biglang nagkaroon ng maintenance of safe houses?
Your Honor, the budget was proposed by the Office of the Vice President, and it would be for different programs, Your Honor. But as to the details, Your Honor, I do not have information on the specific details and items to be spent under the confidential expense.
Would it
Your
be
Honor.
correct to say that the key officials of Vice President Duterte altered the menu of the good governance program of then Vice President Robredo?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I think that would be a possible explanation, Your Honor.
And are they really allowed to alter the program?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, from my understanding, Your Honor, yes, that may be allowed because in the budget of the OVP, there is a general item, Your Honor, only, which is the good governance program.
In other words, Attorney Sanchez, that good governance program is just a nomenclature.
It's like
And as to what will be the menu under the good governance program, that will depend on the Vice President. Am I correct?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, that is my understanding, Your Honor.
And who therefore prepared the program of the good governance program under the time of Vice President Duterte?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, that would be the office of the Vice President, Your Honor.
Can you please cite the name? Who in particular among the key officials prepared?
Your Honor, I do not have the specific information on who the particular persons who prepared, but the request was submitted to the Budget Division, Your Honor.
Nevertheless, Mr. Chair, in spite of the admission of Attorney Sanchez that they can alter, what is clear, the program Good Governance under Vice President Duterte suddenly include confidential fund and maintenance of safe houses, items which were never seen and which were never included in the program of Vice President Robredo. Am I correct, ma'am?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Another important observation, Mr. Chair, Attorney Sanchez. Last quarter of December 2022, OVP spent 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. Do you confirm?
I have no personal knowledge, Your Honor.
May we know if any one of you has personal knowledge about this? Ms. Villa del Rey?
None, Your Honor.
Nevertheless, let me finish this manifestation. 2022 last quarter, the OVP spent 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. This was followed by 2023 first quarter, another 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. This was followed by 2023 second quarter, another 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. And finally, 2023 third quarter, this time 5 million maintenance of safe houses. The only conclusion that I can derive from 2022 last quarter to the third quarter of 2023, meron kayong informants or assets whom you are keeping in the safe houses that the OVP is renting. The question, however, is, why suddenly, pagdating ng last quarter ng 2023, wala nang expenditure for safe houses or not even for confidential fund? San po napunta yung informant at assets nyo, which you have been keeping in your safe houses from the last quarter of 2022 to the third quarter of 2023? Yun po ba inabandon ng OVP? Yun po ba biglang nag-disappear? I understand that you have no personal knowledge, but at least please give us a reasonable interpretation of what happened. Why suddenly, in the last quarter of 2023, nawala ang maintenance ng safe houses, which means nawala din ang informants at saka assets. Where did they go? Ms. Villa del Rey?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I cannot answer the question since I don't have really knowledge of the utilization of the confidential fund.
Attorney Sanchez?
Your Honor, I also apologize, same as the answer of Ms. Villa del Rey, Your Honor.
Mr. Kevin?
Say, Mr. Chair, I have no knowledge or participation in the utilization of the confidential funds.
Ms. Rabago?
Same, Mr. Chair, I don't have a personal knowledge on the utilization of the confidential
Ms.
funds.
Villa del Rey, can you at least tell us who has the personal knowledge over these matters?
Based on the JC and based on the issuance of cash advance, it is the Special Disbursing Officer
Who
as
is?
the accountable officer.
Can you please cite the name of the special disbursing officer?
As shown in the check, Your Honor, it is Ms. Gina Acosta.
And apart from Ms. Gina Acosta, who else has personal knowledge over these matters?
I don't have idea, Your Honor. I
And you
don't have
confirm
knowledge.
that Gina Acosta, the special disbursing officer, whom you described earlier as confidential official with salary grade 24, is one of those who were subpoenaed and who did not appear. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Deputy Speaker
I just
J.D.
wanted
Suarez.
to ask a question. Attorney Sanchez, yung binanggit po ni Congressman Luistro na Special Disbursement Officer, ano pong pangalan niya? Gina Acosta. Yeah. She was the one cited in contempt, correct? Yeah. Along with Fajarda. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to get that clear. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, may we please recognize the presence of Honorable Jonathan Kitty Flores from 2nd District of Bukidnon and Honorable Steve C. Solon from the Lone District of Sarangani. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, the Chair would like to recognize the next interpellator, the Honorable Jefferson Konghun. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, gusto ko pong i-direct ang aking katanungan kay Ginoong Jerome Tenedo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon po. Bilang eksperto po no, sa budget and planning, budget preparation, familiar po kayo sa estimation at forecasting ng mga budget. Kumbaga, i-request mo yung budget, nagre-request ka ng budget na kaya mong i-utilize, tama po ba?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
So pag nag-request ka ng budget for 1 year, kaya mong siguraduhin na ito kayang-kaya mong i-utilize ng isang taon.
Should be, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So pag nag-request ka naman ng 1 quarter, ng isang quarter, yung in-request mo rin, kaya mong i-utilize sa isang quarter.
Should be, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Kelvin, ano ang trabaho mo sa OVP?
Isa po akong budget officer. Involved po ako sa paggawa ng budget proposal during budget proposal submission to DBM. And then during budget legislation sa mga hearing po ng Committee on APRO, gumagawa din po kami ng documents to be ready documents for the hearing.
Okay. Kanina may tinanong si Congresswoman Jinky kanina.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung na-alter, no? Kasi sinabi kanina, walang budget, no? Walang nakalagay na budget para dun sa confidential fund o maintenance, no? Ng mga safe houses nung panahon ni VP Robredo. Tapos nung naging si VP Duterte nagkaroon na ng budget for maintenance ng mga safe houses. May kinalaman ka ba sa bilang budget officer? May kinalaman ka ba sa paglalagay ng budget na ito?
Specifically for safe houses, wala po, Mr. Chair.
Di ba sa'yo dumadaan lahat, lalong-lalo na pag mga request ng mga budget? Siyempre may kinalaman ka sa paglalagay ng menu, pagdagdag ng menu, no? Sa budget nito.
That's correct, Mr. Chair. But in general sense po yung naging nakalagay sa letter as confidential expenses or confidential fund, wala pong breakdown na merong maintenance of safe houses.
So yung nakalagay sa budget ng OVP na nakalagay doon is maintenance for safe houses. Wala kang kinalaman dito? Hindi ikaw ang naglagay dito sa inyong budget proposal?
Yes, at the time of submission of request, wala pong ganong specific na expense type or need, sir.
So
Mr. Chair.
paano to nailagay sa budget ng OVP kung hindi dumaan sa inyo? Yung maintenance ng mga safe houses?
Sir, Mr. Chair, the maintenance of safe houses is part of the confidential expenses. Yung umbrella term na confidential expense po, yung naging part ng letter. However, doon sa letter, hindi na po nakaspecify ano po yung mga menu or items under confidential expenses na paggagamitan ng confidential fund.
Sino ang naglagay ng menu na ito?
I have no knowledge po, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Kevin, no, responsibility niyo din sa bilang budget officer na mag-flag down, no, ng mga deficiencies or flaws pag meron kayo nakikita sa budget implementation ng OVP, tama po ba?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Sa paggastos ng mga pondong natanggap din ng OVP,
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
may mga napansin ka bang irregularidad sa paggastos ng 125 million confidential fund ng OVP?
Wala po, Mr. Chair. I have no knowledge with regards to utilization. The budget division is mainly involved on the early phase po on the request of cash advance for confidential activities.
So wala kang alam, lalong-lalo na sa kung paano ni-utilize.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kay Madam Rosalyn Sanchez, di ba po kayo ang pumipirma ng cheque? Kasama po kayo sa pumipirma ng cheque?
Mr. Chair.
Attorney Sanchez, you are recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. That is correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
So, tingin niyo po ba hindi kasama sa inyong trabaho na tignan kung ang mga pinipirmahan niyo pong cheque, naayon po ba o tama ang paggastos?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, at the time that the cash advance is issued, there is still no utilization yet. So nangyayari po yung issuance ng check at the start. So yung utilization phase po, hindi na po covered ng signature ko on the check, Your Honor, and also under the joint circular, Your Honor. It is not also part of my duties and responsibilities, Your Honor.
So hindi ka nagtataka kung paano pamamaraan ginamit yung mga cheque na pinipirmahan mo?
Mr. Chair, because I do not have knowledge as to how it was spent, I am not in a position also para po magtaka, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Tinedo,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
pumipirma po ba kayo ng Pumipirma po ba kayo ng yung tinatawag nating FAR o yung FAR?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the Financial Accountability Report.
Yes, Financial Accountability Report. Pumipirma po ba kayo nun?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Meron po ba kayong pinipirmahan nun pagdating sa confidential fund?
Part po ng FAR, sir, is yung line item na or expense type na confidential expenses, sir. Mr. Chair.
So, nagsicertify ka, tama?
Certified correct po na may pondong nilaan sa OVP para sa confidential expenses at may pondo rin po na inobligate for the cash advance ng confidential activities.
So, wala rin itong kinalaman sa paggastos?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kung tama ang paggastos?
Correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Napansin ko din, Mr. Tinedo, na hindi kayo nakapag-disburse ng confidential fund ang OVP noong fourth quarter of 2023. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Dahil dito ay may remaining balance o undisbursed balance ang OVP na 125 million.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Tinedo, kung tama ang budget planning at forecasting na isinasagawa ninyo para sa 2023 budget ng OVP, meron kayong inalat na 500 million na confidential fund for the entire year or 125 million each quarter. Hindi ba kailangan ng Office of the Vice President ang pondo na ito para sa fourth quarter?
Based po dun sa aming report, wala na pong sinubmit na request for cash advance for the fourth quarter. So hindi na po namin na-utilize or na-obligate yung remaining 125 million for fiscal year 2023 last quarter.
Hindi ka ba nagtataka kung bakit first, second, and third quarter may request na confidential fund ang OVP sa kanyang paggastos, lalong-lalo na para sa mga warehouse and safe houses. Pero pagdating ng fourth quarter, bigla itong nawala at hindi na ginamit ng OVP ang kanyang budget for confidential fund? Hindi ba nakakapagtaka yun?
Nakakapagtaka po, pero during the reporting po namin internal, binabanggit po namin periodically na may remaining pa na 125 million na available for the last quarter.
Bakit ka nagtaka?
There is a program budget na po for the entire year. So, and yung 125 million is for the last quarter of 2023, significant siya na pwedeng makaapekto sa budget utilization status or rate ng OVP. Hence, kailangan ko pong i-report na may available pa.
Hindi ka ba nagtaka dahil kawawa naman yung mga nasa mga safe houses and warehouses ninyo sa mga binibigyan nyo ng allowance ng mga intelligence officers?
At
Hindi ka ba nagtaka para doon?
At that time, Mr. Chair, wala po akong idea or knowledge kung paano ginagamit yung confidential expenses except those items na nakalagay sa joint circular. So, wala po akong basihan para pagtakhan kung paano yung mga safe houses, mga assets.
Tingin ko, may alam ka rin ba kung ano na nangyari sa mga rewards and supplies for the informants? Kung ano nangyari sa kanila? So, I guess, wala ka rin alam dito.
Yes, Mr. Chair, wala po akong knowledge.
Alam mo, Mr. Tiniedo, tingin ko, isa lang ibig sabihin nito, no? Dahil hindi dire-diretso yung pag-utilize ng pondo ng OVP, ng kanyang confidential fund. Ang isa lang na ibig sabihin nito ay walang totoong programa na pinaglalaanan itong confidential fund. Kung kaya walang sinusundan na logic or forecasting ang budget para dito. At wala ring epekto sa ahensya na hindi nila nagamit yung kanilang confidential fund. Tingin mo po pwede ko bang yon? Isipin yon?
Sir, as part of OVP, may mga activities naman po yung OVP sa mga projects and programs. However, insofar as confidential activities is concerned, wala pong knowledge yung budget division. Lahat po kami doon. Kung paano ginagamit ang confidential funds.
Okay. Alam po ninyo, sa isang opisina, imposible pong hindi kayo nakakapagkwento-kwentuhan kung paano nyo nagagamit, no, ang isang pondo. Dahil alam naman natin lahat kayo nakapirma dito. At obligasyon ninyo na siguraduhin na yung confidential fund ay nagagamit sa tamang pamamaraan. So, parang hindi ka paniwala na talagang wala kayong idea kung paano ito na-utilize. No? Kasi syempre, lahat yan, you affix your signatures. At kahit paano, responsable kayo sa kung saan paano ito nagagamit. Lalong-lalo na, ikaw, Madam Rosalyn Sanchez, yung iyong pirma ay nasa cheque. Ikaw, Madam Villa del Rey, kayo po ang accountant, no, ng Office of the Vice President, na kahit papano, inaalam nyo rin, sigurado ako, kung paano na-utilize at nagagamit yung mga pondo na ipinagkakatiwala sa Office of the Vice President. Maaaring sinasabi ninyo na wala kayong direktang information o walang nagpupuntang mga papeles na dumadaan sa inyong opisina. Pero kahit papano alam ko na dumadaan sa inyo yung impormasyon kung paano ito nagagamit. Mr. Tiniedo, sa tingin ko, ikaw ang least guilty kung sakasakaling nangyaring irregularidad dito sa paggamit ng confidential fund ng Office of the Vice President. At sana, no, kung may nalalaman ka, mas maganda, sabihin mo na. Kasi hindi naman titigil ang committee na ito na para mag-imbestiga, lalong-lalo na kung paano at ginamit, kung saan ginamit ang confidential fund ng Office of the Vice President. Nakita nyo naman, may mga ilang tao na nakapirma, pero iba-iba yung pirma. Hindi alam kung saan, paano ginamit, or kulang yung information, lalong-lalo na sa acknowledgement receipt. Patong-patong na red flags, no? Yung nauungkat tungkol sa Office of the Vice President Confidential Fund for 2022 and 2023. Tila ba ginagamit ang confidential fund bilang sistema, no, para mag-commit ng plunder or manguha ng pera sa pamahalaan. So, kailangan nating malaman kung saan nang napupunta o paano nagagamit ang confidential fund na ibinibigay natin sa ating mga opisina. Yun lang po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Congressman Kong Hun. With the permission of the chair, I just want to clarify something.
Please continue, Deputy Speaker Suarez.
Ms. Rabago, tama po ba? Kanina tinanong po kayo kung meron po kayong knowledge tungkol sa confidential funds, and your answer was?
I don't have any personal knowledge on the utilization of the confidential fund, Your Honor.
Kayo po, Mr. Tenido.
Yes, sir. I have no personal knowledge insofar as the utilization and the liquidation of confidential funds.
But in the preparation, meron?
Yes po, during budget request, budget proposal.
Okay, but pagdating sa actual disbursement, wala ka nang kinalaman
Wala
doon?
na po, Mr. Chair.
Sa pagplanning, sa detalye, kung paano mabubuo yung utilization, wala
Wala na
kang
po, Mr.
kinalaman? Ha?
Wala na po, Mr.
Kasi
Chair.
ng part ng planning yun, hindi po ba?
Part lang po ng planning yung physical and financial plan. Once po may ganun na, sir.
So lump
Mr.
sum siya, in other words?
Opo,
Okay.
ganun.
Sa inyo po, Attorney Sanchez.
Same, Your Honor, and as mentioned earlier, my participation is limited to the issuance of the, signature on the check for the cash advance, Your Honor.
And kayo po, Ma'am Villa Del Rey, accountant.
Yes, same din po, Your Honor. Ang participation ko is the issuance of cash advance and processing of disbursement voucher.
So, accountant, budget officer, finance officer, tapos ngayon OIC chief of staff, correct?
Your Honor, I am not the OIC Chief of Staff at the moment, Your Honor, and I only held that position for a few days, Your Honor.
Okay. And I'm just making sure that my memory serves me right. So the the finance officer, the accountant, and the finance, and the budget planning, all of you are of the position na wala kayong kinalaman, no personal knowledge, correct? Therefore, only two people have knowledge about the confidential fund. The Special Disbursement Officer and the Vice President. Is that correct?
Please answer, Attorney Sanchez.
Mr. Chair, based on the documents, Mr.
No,
Chair,
it's a yes or no, ma'am. Is that correct?
I cannot say, Your Honor, because as I mentioned, I do not know the details of the confidential fund, so
No,
I
okay.
do not have information on who has knowledge.
Ma'am, okay. You're starting not to make sense. The question is simple. Kanina sinabi ninyo, pagdating sa liquidation, wala kayong kinalaman. Ang bahagi ninyo nandito sa planning and documentation proper. But sa actual liquidation at utilization, wala kayong kinalaman. So ang tanong ko, sino ang may kinalaman dito? O may alam dito? Kayo ang finance and administrative officer. You have full knowledge and control over the operations of the Office of the Vice President. That is part of your responsibility. Now, my question is, who has knowledge and information on this?
Mr. Chair, in terms of knowledge and control over the operations of the
No,
office.
ma'am. When it comes to the confidential funds, my question is, who has knowledge over this?
When it comes to the confidential fund, Your Honor, it should be the Special Disbursing Officer, Your Honor.
And that would be?
Ms. Gina Acosta, Your Honor.
Okay, under the office, under the supervision of,
She is assigned under the Office of the Chief of Staff, Your Honor.
and the Chief of Staff being,
That is Attorney Zuleika T. Lopez, Your Honor.
and who does the Chief of Staff answer to?
The Vice President, Your Honor.
Being whom?
Vice President Sarah Duterte, Your
So
Honor.
nandun yung hierarchy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kasi kung wala na sa inyo, si SDO, Chief of Staff, at saka si VP na. Correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to get that straight, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.